Thanks for joining us on this edition of National Focus. I'm Kerdisha St. Louis. Coming up, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit is sworn in as Finance Minister. We'll bring you a special report on government's interventions in agriculture for economic growth, and the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation calls on individuals to recycle more of their waste. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I'll think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Thanks for staying with us. Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is officially the Minister for Finance for his government's next term of leadership. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit took his oath on Thursday morning at the President's office.
I, Roosevelt Skerrit, do swear that I will faithfully bear true allegiance to the Commonwealth of Dominica, so help me God. I, Roosevelt Skerrit, do swear that I will faithfully execute the office of Minister without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and that in the execution of the functions of that office, I will honor, uphold, and preserve the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Dominica, so help me God. I, Roosevelt Skerrit, being called upon to exercise the functions of Minister in the Commonwealth of Dominica, do swear that I will not directly or indirectly reveal the business or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any document communicated to me in my capacity as Minister, so help me God.
On Tuesday, the nation's leader took his oath as Prime Minister. Covering around 27% of the Earth's land surface, mountains play a critical role in moving the world towards sustainable economic growth. In observance of International Mountain Day, GIS's Tasia Flosak brings you this special report.
Sustainable approaches to development are particularly important to small mountainous countries since current global challenges such as climate change, economic fragility, and population growth exacerbate the hardships faced by mountainous countries like Dominica. On Thursday, 11, 2014, International Mountain Day, countries are challenged and encouraged to identify new and sustainable opportunities that can bring benefits to both highland and lowland communities without contributing to the degradation of fragile mountain ecosystems. As a result, this year's theme aims to raise awareness about farming and its contribution to sustainable development, especially for small countries like the Nature Isle. In Dominica, this fact is well recognized, and sustainable development is the watchword for any undertaking planned by the island's leadership. Since coming into office, the Dominica Labour Party government, led by Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, has made provisions for new agri-entrepreneurs and farmers to succeed while remaining focused on sustainable agriculture practices. Government often emphasizes its commitment to working on a national policy, which will include investments to expand agritourism, land management, and agricultural engineering, as well as mechanisms to fight diseases such as black sigatoka, currently threatening agriculture in the region. This policy initiative forms part of government's growth and social protection strategy aimed primarily at poverty reduction. Government is also making tremendous progress in its mission to produce geothermal energy in Dominica that will undoubtedly have a positive impact on Dominica's economy by reducing energy cost, providing access to green energy and energy efficiency. The move also promotes sustainable use of the Earth's renewable energy sources. This is in keeping with the United Nations Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon's three-part Sustainable Energy for All initiative launched in 2011. All of this ties into the UN General Assembly's declaration of December 11th as International Mountain Day. International Mountain Day was first observed in 2002 when the United Nations made 2002 the International Year of Mountains.
Meantime, Dominica's mountainous terrain and natural features also mean a lot to the tourism sector. The island has been featured in yet another travel article. Janine Ralston's article, Who Needs a Beach When You've Got This?, was published in the New York Times digital newspaper travel section on Saturday, November 6, 2014. In the article, Ralston recalls highlights of her experience as a tourist on a recent visit to the island. The writer gives praise to Dominica's uniqueness in Caribbean brand through its promotion of ecotourism. Ralston notes in her article that Dominica strays away from the tiresome label of a sun, sea and sand and instead boasts of an interior filled with wonders, including 300 miles of hiking paths, 365 rivers, and 2/3 of rainforest-covered land, 20% of which is the national park system. Some local sites featured in the article include the Trafalgar Falls, Victoria Falls, Freshwater Lake, and Wavinsirik, all of which require some level of hiking through Dominica's mountainous terrain. The Discover Dominica Authority has invested heavily in branding the destination as Dominica, the Nature Island, in order to promote the sustainable growth of the industry. The island's most popular sites are hidden in its terrain. According to Part 3 of the Product Audit and Tourism Sector Review of the Tourism Master Plan for 2012 to 2022, together Trafalgar Falls and Emerald Pool accounted for approximately 70% of the total number of visitors in 2011, with the highest levels of visitation occurring in the period December to April. The country's natural features have been praised in several magazines worldwide, such as the Dutch Ritz, and has received the prestigious accolades over the years, including a spot on the list of the world's most ethical destinations and the TripAdvisor's Traveler's Choice Islands Award. In related news, Dominica stands to lose approximately $7 million in foreign exchange if the citrus industry were to succumb to diseases. This is according to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry, Harold Geese. It is estimated that 5,355 acres is used to cultivate citrus crops on the island. Among the number of diseases that affects the citrus industry, Hong Long Bing, or HLB, commonly known as the citrus greening disease, has caused much damage locally. The government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Agriculture, however, has developed several strategies to deal with this disease. This includes fiscal incentives to improve the technical capabilities of the ministry and a citrus certification program introduced since 2010, which produces citrus plants free of all known diseases affecting citrus. The Plant Protection Unit is also engaged in other practical methods of eradicating the disease.
The Plant Protection Unit, of which Mr. Ansem is the head of this unit, has cut down and burnt 500 citrus-infested citrus trees from the most affected areas in the south and Wesley in the north, in our efforts to deal with this problem. There has been distribution of over 30,000 clean, disease-free planting material to farmers all over the island. Enforcement of strict internal quarantine systems to prevent the movement of infested trees from one area to another. We have provided farmers with true-to-type, disease-free citrus planting material from the Ministry of Agriculture. There has been closure of private citrus nurseries to prevent further spread and to bring the disease under control.
The Ministry of Agriculture has also gotten assistance from the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, the European Union, the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, and Cuba. From December 10th to 12th, Dominica is hosting a regional workshop on the management of the citrus greening disease. CARICOM countries and Latin American experts are here to share on their experiences on dealing with the citrus greening disease. This workshop is a forum to share experiences and gain knowledge to formulate national action plans to combat the citrus greening disease in the region. A national action plan which was already developed for Dominica will also be under review. The government of Dominica has spent an estimated amount of $15 million between 2007 and 2013 to grow the citrus industry. The Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation is calling on residents to reduce the amount of waste going into the landfill. The organization is proposing that consumers recycle their waste to reduce the amount of garbage being collected. Acting General Manager of the Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation, Florian Mitchell, says this change must start at a household level.
If you watch Dominica, we have a population of 70-something thousand. And we only cover enough food of the island in terms of recycling. And if you watch the 2/3 that have almost or little recycling, if we could remove all those material from our general waste stream, I mean, we would have a landfill that would last us probably for 100 years. Because if you remove all your plastics, all your cans, all your glass, all your tins from your general waste stream, you probably only have textile, and you have probably food or kitchen waste which you could compost at your home or you could pass on to your neighbor. So your volume of waste that you would have to deal with would be significantly low, less than thus not having to landfill anything. Because most of the textile material that you use, so it could be recycled. Instead of getting rid of your clothes, there might be some less fortunate people in your community that you could pass it on to. There are other charitable organizations that you could pass on this material to. And I think these are some of the things that we have to think of in going forward as to waste reduction.
He says by adopting the corporation's motto of reduce, reuse, recycle, Dominica will be more of an eco-friendly destination.
If we could effectively manage our waste, reduce, reuse, recycle, we wouldn't have to use shopping bags again. We could go with a handmade bag. I mean, many times you watch certain supermarkets, there are bags there, but if people don't use it, they find it's too costly to buy a bag for $3. But if you have your bag and you use that bag every time that you go to the supermarket, the amount of plastics that we're going to deal with is going to be reduced. If you reuse before we had this culture where we would, our glass containers, I mean, you reuse it, we'd put our sugar in there, we don't do those things again. Once we have it, we just get rid of it. So there are a lot of things we could do on a household level in terms of reducing and reusing the same material. When plastic, in terms of the toxic content, you're not allowed to keep plastic for a very long time because it's very toxic. So those material, we are asking you to pass it on to solid waste, then we will process it accordingly for you. So these are some of the things that we would want people to think that your role on the household level is very, very important. I mean, solid waste role is to collect, but you could manage your waste, and if you manage your waste effectively, would reduce the amount of garbage that needs to be thrown out to the landfill. If you're pulling out your recycled material, there is almost no smell from it. I mean, you use a ketchup bottle, you shake a little water in there is no ants, there is no rats going to come there, there is no rodents going to come here. Rodents going to come because of your food peeling, your food remains. So as I said, if we could compose this material, if we could put all our recycled material in a container, in a clear bag, then the garbage truck could come in your community once on a fortnightly basis. It reduces the volume of waste that's going to be put out. It reduces the corporation operating costs as well. Then we could extend into other areas. And these are some of the things that we'd want to highlight in terms of the benefits of reducing, reusing, and recycling.
And before we leave, here's one announcement. The government of the Commonwealth of Dominica has received financing from the Global Environment Facility through the United Nations Environment Program to support the preparation of Dominica's third National Communications to the United Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC. Part of this funding is to be utilized to hire national consultants to undertake technical studies and draft the national report. The government of Dominica is seeking expressions of interest from suitably qualified national consultants who have at least 5 years' experience in the following areas: greenhouse gas inventory from energy, transportation, solid waste and industrial processes, inventory of carbon sinks forests, inventory of carbon sinks agriculture, climate change mitigation including renewable energy, energy efficiency and energy conservation, mainstreaming climate change into national development planning, training, public education outreach on climate change, systematic observation systems for climate change, including hydrometeorological systems. Work on this project will commence in January 2015 and will be completed by May 2016. Successful applicants will be expected to start work on or before February 2nd, 2015. Any persons interested in being considered for any of the above positions are requested to submit their current curriculum vitae and a letter of interest to the following: Director, Environmental Coordinating Unit, Roseau Fisheries Complex, Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard, Roseau, Commonwealth of Dominica. Telephone number 266-5256, fax 448-4577. Email ecu@dominica.gov.dm. Submissions can be electronically submitted or in writing to the above address and must be received no later than Wednesday, January 7th, 2015 at 4 p.m. Expressions of interest received after this date will not be considered. Also, the Dominica Government Band will be undertaking its annual Christmas tour as follows: Sunday, December 14th, 2014, Trafalgar, 3 p.m., Geodale, 6 p.m. Sunday, December 21st, 2014, State Prison, 1 p.m., Dominica Infirmary, 3 p.m., Princess Margaret Hospital, 6 p.m. The Christmas Musicale in Roseau will take place on Wednesday, December 7th, 2014 in Peebles Park, Victoria Street at 7:30 p.m. Everyone is invited to the village and town events to enjoy the musical renditions and to participate in carol singing. The band looks forward to bringing Christmas cheer to all. And that's all for the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moins c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ministre agriculture en collaboration et puis FAO qui a conduit un workshop régional qui a concerné management HLB, ça c'est Wang Long Bin, ou bien Citrus Greening Disease. Monsieur Ran Ansem, c'est officier quarantine ministre agriculture.
Nous sommes hors Latin America, expert hors Latin America qui a travaillé en citrus, avec maladie citrus pour combien d'années. Avec Yola, avec nous aussi invité mon hors CARICOM, moun qui ni problème greening en Caribbean. Aujourd'hui là ça nous a fait nous ni support hors FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, hors Barbados, Vaijo Lopez, avec Tania Mouna qui en Chili. C'est un projet FAO ni pour regarder comment nous avons gourmand contre citrus greening dans la région caribéenne là. Aujourd'hui là, nous c'est moun ça là qui a fait présentation avec comment yo ka manager maladie citrus greening dans Latin America. Aussi nous des experts dans Belize avec Jamaïque. Ça yo ka aider yo ka ça qui anglais best practice. Ça yo ka fait en Jamaïque avec Belize qui a travaillé. Yo les venir Dominique montrer nous comment ça travaille pour nous même faire. So encore nous ni moun dans sud pour notre Caribéen qui a planté zoin avec toutes ces bagages ça citrus. So meeting la fini tous ces pays a une stratégie ça qui en anglais un action plan pour nous garder comment nous ca faire gourmand contre citrus en Dominique avec à tous ces pays caribéens.
En d'autres nouvelles, ça fait où la Antigua passer législation pour free movement en OECS. Ça c'est moun peut voyager sans pièce problème. Ça peut bénéficier citoyens ces pays là. Parole celle-là sorti ambassadeur Dominique pour OECS, His Excellency Félix Grégoire.
Les Antigua passer ça, tout le bagage pour faire free movement complete. Ça complete. Nous contents, nous tous contents, les nous tendons ça authentique parce que vous savez nous n'y a pas de Dominique Antigua. Le mon calantique, autant mon a dit non. Comment qu'il est, non? Qu'il est, ce gouvernement qui est passé ça. So, à présent, le gouvernement a passé, il y avait autant de monde Dominique qui est mon cadiment,
yo tellement content comme que le gouvernement passe ça. Et pour aller faire application pour work permit, waiting moi qu'est-ce pour work permit, et important pour payer pour aussi. So à présent pas ni ça encore. So là aller à présent ou ça aller n'importe country OECS, pays OECS, travail sans work permit.
En d'autres nouvelles, Electoral Commission OES qui était en Dominique pour observer l'élection générale, a déclaré que l'élection la tienne en ordre, ça c'est ça qu'on est free and fair. Parole ça la sortie au chef mission Adam Blackwell pendant qu'il était présenté report électoral. Quand même Blackwell fait une recommandation pour future élection en Dominique. Commission là joint et puis Premier Minister Hon Roosevelt Skerrit et chef du WP Lennox Linton. Quand même si le Premier Ministre Hon Roosevelt Skerrit, l'élection la tient en WEG et puis les bons partis de Dominique acceptent le résultat là. Et aussi qu'a fait parole que le gouvernement Nef Salam qui travaille en l'enterré tout Dominique. Cabinet Nef là qui s'est menti samedi qu'a venu. Et puis finalement, Board Grotto Dominique prend décision pour aller à l'occasion Nef Ayo l'année prochaine. Monsieur Ainsworth Irish, c'est président Board là.
Grotto à présent, nous tenons pour aller là aujourd'hui, mais nous still pas fini l'électricité là. Nous pas fini plumbing là, as moi capable ba yo ka faire plumbing. So board là joine, et yo dit yo passage joine, yo nous passa monter aller là et nous pas ni électricité. So nous que monter bon à janvier, January next year. Et nous ka dit nous ni pour taper l'argent pour payer. Et nous ni pour remercier Dominique, Dominique a ba nous $10,000 worth of electricity tous les mois, tous les années free. Mais pour mettre l'électricité à là, nous voulons $36,000. Dominique dit qu'il mettre half, mais nous pour taper l'autre half là. So, moi, pour parler avec mon pour voir comment nous taper l'argent là, pour nous mettre light là, nous pas aller là avant light, parce qu'on est 40 moun pour boire tout bitin, on obligé de cléter. So, moi, je dis, au monde qui vient pour aider nous, pour nous taper bitin là, pour mettre clété, so nous ça aller là. So because nous pas ni clété, glo là large déjà, nous ni pour faire the connection. Mais building là about 95% complete.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, more money saving tips for Christmas.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
Tip 1. Don't go overboard. It's very easy to go overboard, but excess for excess's sake will only make you feel miserable when the bills come rolling in January. Try to allot an amount of money you will spend on the kids and don't be hooked into the notion that children need the latest high-tech gadget or toy. Ask the children to make a Christmas list, including one really special item that they really want, and that will be their main present. Tip 2. Make a promise that you won't buy anything for yourself. When you're shopping for gifts, it's very easy to be tempted to buy for yourself. Make this season about others, not you. And remember that the items that you want will likely be less expensive during the after-season sales. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kerdisha. Thanks for watching.